Greggy's here. Hi everyone. Oh, he's being grumpy this morning. We went for a run. And he likes it, but he gets very tired afterwards. We just wait too long to put. I don't even have tea today, so you're one step ahead of me, babe. I have iced coffee today because, yeah, as I said, I went for a run and I vastly overestimated how much time I needed to like look like a human being again post that. You know when like you see people, I've got this co-worker, hope you're well, thank you, yes, blessings. I have this co-worker, and if she has like a gap in her schedule, she'll just go to the gym. She's a yoga instructor, and like, I get it, yeah, that's a like type of person and like type of body, but like she'll just go to the gym at lunch or like when she has a gap in her schedule, and she comes back looking perfect. Like, she has this glow, she looks incredible. And this morning I said to myself, I was like, we're gonna take a cute little selfie. We've gone for a 5k run 3 days in a row and feeling really proud of us. For those of you who don't know, I'm training for a half marathon. I don't know how you wouldn't know that though, because I'm obsessively telling everyone in my life, so I have accountability for not doing it. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna take like a cute little post-run selfie. No. Is this how I'm to be rewarded? Like, I have worked so hard, I feel like, over this last week. Greg and I, prior to this, did like a walkathon for guide dogs. And I, like, you know, I was feeling really good. There's nothing like a picture to humble you. Like, my word. I looked like I had been, like, dragged through a creek and then several kilometers of bushland backwards, and then had taken this photograph. It wasn't cute. It wasn't anything. And I just feel like, why do some people get to have like a glow and I don't, you know? It's fine. So I'm running a little behind schedule today, which is why I have iced coffee. I just can't have tea like straight up in the morning. It's also gone to spring now. It's what, the 9th of September, 10th of September today. It's the 10th of September today, and it's gone to spring. Spring obviously starts on the 1st of September, so we're 9 days in at this point. And it's hot. Yeah, it's already like 31, 32 degrees in the middle of the day where I live, so like, it's hell. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. It's our September live stream. I know I said in the last video that I was like gonna try and do more videos other than just these live streams, and I am really working on it, but I've had a hectic month, a hectic few weeks, so yeah, I don't know, sorry if today's a bit weird, I guess. Greg is still trying to chart his escape out of here. Can we at least just like say one hi to everyone? Just like, no, okay, that's fine. Got that little sigh there. Did you like, tell me what ails you, you little freeloader? Come here, okay. Alright, so today we are going to discuss, I don't know because I haven't looked at the questions yet, and once again you're probably thinking, Molly, why don't you do this ahead of time? And I agree, I just never do. I got into my little nap pod last night and I was like, well, hey, it's incredible, by the way. Everyone should have like a human-sized dog bed. It's the tits. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do my makeup. I'm not actually going anywhere today. Though I'll probably have to take my neighbour out to get her groceries, but like, I don't think that counts because I usually just walk behind her with my sunglasses still on, like, don't want to be here. But that's fine. Okay, let's go. Just getting these questions up on my phone. Let's run through it. There is one thing that I'm going to discuss, but I'm going to save it for a little bit later. Let's like not get into that so heavily. Someone saying thank you for doing the live streams. I'd watch them every week. I doubt that. I mean, what would I have to talk about every week? I barely have enough to talk about over a month, so I did used to do, when I was doing like my season 2 reaction videos, I did those weekly. But I guess there was like actual content to discuss then. I'm not sure. I have not decided yet whether or not I'll be doing season 3 recaps. I think that depends on a few things headed into season 3. I used like this apple cider vinegar exfoliator like 2 days ago, and I think it like burnt my cheekbones. I don't know, they've been really weird since then. They're like really red and like, yeah. Anyway, put some sunscreen on there because, you know, sun just blaring through my windows. Yes, I don't know. I like I said, I do want to try and like utilize this channel a bit more. I guess I'm just lazy with that. And yeah, I've had a really weird month, so you know, such is life. 2 questions for today. Did Anthony start as a Bridgerton tattoo, or did you name him that afterwards? So like, I wanted to get a B because of Kate and Anthony. I actually like, I don't know what was going through my head, but I forgot that like that's the, for those of you who don't know, this is Anthony. He sits here, which is on the left side of my collarbone. I forgot when I got this tattoo. So I got him in January last year, and I like forgot that that's where she got stung. So it turned out to be more of a Bridgerton tattoo than I intended, I guess. I just have a question here, and the chat has, like, I don't know how to work it because I'm dumb. So I'm just going to try and answer questions as I see them popping up there. So that was about an announcement date for season 3, and I think we got one by accident, no? Like a Netflix from somewhere else. Netflix from somewhere else. I am somewhere else. And Netflix, I want to say like Portugal or somewhere, announced the release date when they announced those like first look photos, or during To Dumb, one of them. Yeah, a December date. So that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, like Netflix Portugal, I think like accidentally released it. Which I think like they're not just gonna make up a date, so it's obviously on the calendar for them. Like, can you imagine some intern just being like, when are we gonna release this? How does December sound? Should we go for December? Should we just before Christmas? People will be home for the holidays. You know, like, I think, yeah, like it's obviously on the calendar for at least around that time. But I wouldn't put it past Netflix. There's obviously going to be quite a lull in content with the writer's strike and the SAG strike, you know, and the longer that goes on, obviously the less content they're going to have. So I wouldn't put it past Netflix at this point to reschedule it for early next year. Maybe we'll see a March 2024 release. Don't mind the door. It's not like someone trying to break into my house. It's the wind is coming through and I can't shut the window, otherwise I'll die of heat exhaustion. So like I said, it's getting very hot here already. Yeah, I think we'll probably see either a December or an early next year release, most probably. There was another question here and I didn't answer it, I got distracted. If you had to get a new Bridgerton themed tattoo, what would you get? I'm thinking of asking my artist to design something with the pink and black mallets, a bee and lilies. Or another idea I have is something to do with thunderstorm. I would get another Bridgerton tattoo, I guess. I guess I'd have to think of something like Kate and Anthony themed, because I haven't really thought about it. I kind of have my one. Now that's the cat trying to get in the door there. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to stretch out my foundation because I ordered some things from Sephora. Where I live, we don't have a Sephora or a Mecca, which is Mecca is like the Australian Sephora. Pre-Sephora landing in Australia, we had Mecca. And the really frustrating thing is some things are only available at Sephora, some things are only available at Mecca because that's how Australia works. It's a hellscape. So she's doing that cat thing, you know, where they're like, I absolutely must get into that room. I can't believe you keep it from me. And then like, she just leaves. What was I? My foundation. So I ordered some things from there and I didn't realize that my foundation was running out. and now I have a situation where I have like basically no foundation. So you know, life's going really well for me at the moment, as you can probably tell. Yeah, I'm really thriving. Would I get another Bridgerton tattoo? Absolutely. I have some other ones that I am trying to plan before that, though. I'm trying to get a Taylor Swift themed tattoo. And I also kind of want to get, so I love Lord of the Rings. I went to New Zealand last year, like, mostly just to go to Hobbiton. And I really kind of want to get, like, from the movies, Arwen's sword, like, down here. But I don't know if I will get that or if I will not get that, because I have about 12 ideas for a tattoo a week. I would love a new Bridgerton tattoo. I would maybe get, I mean, I technically already have two because I've got some little tulips here. Yeah, I would. Good luck with getting a Bridgerton tattoo. Everyone should get tattoos. I mean, if you like them, you don't have to. Okay, let's move on. I don't know, this isn't going that well today. I'm having a bit of a rough one. That's fine. Happy early birthday. Thank you. Yeah, it's my birthday next Saturday. Which is fine. I'm going to be 29. So that's rough. I feel like, I don't know, I woke up one day and I was like 29 and an adult. My sister is going to be having a baby soon, and when she told me that she was having a baby, I was kind of like, you can't have a baby. Like, we're still babies. Like, in my head, I'm 23, but that hasn't been the case for about 6 years now. So, you know, that's depressing, but alas. I'm not really big on birthdays. My sister's baby shower is the next day, and that's really going to be the main thing that I'm dealing with at that point in time. So, yeah. Before we get too far into this, I'm just going to open. Because, you know, 2 shots of caffeine isn't enough. Let's have... How many is this? I don't even want to know. It's only a baby Red Bull. It's not like a big one. I did try to order a big one, but they didn't have any. So, because I don't do my groceries anymore, I'm far too lazy for that, and that would require me to be around people a lot more than I really want to be. So I just order my groceries online and they get delivered, and it's great. But sometimes the substitutions are really harsh. That one time I had ordered, I think, like a packet of like cheese and onion chips, and I was like really craving them. I don't often get cheese and onion, which I don't know if that's just an Australian flavour, but we have cheese and onion chips. Not like sour cream and chives, like it's different. We have both. So I really wanted cheese and onion chips, and as a substitute they gave me like original salt, which is fine. It's not really what I wanted, nor do I think it's like a good substitute. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to go on about that. Okay. Do Mary and Edwina eventually become blood drinkers in the Yours to Tame universe? So my personal headcanon, I guess my personal headcanon is really the only one that matters because I wrote it. But yes, I think they would. Not like straight away, I don't think, but like eventually, yes. To my mind, I think at least Edwina would. I'm not sure about Mary yet. I haven't like meditated on that, but I meditate on that as if I like sit around all day and I'm like, would she tell me? I think she would. Is my personal belief. I think they would. I think though Kate would not be the one to turn them. Super controversial thought. She would not be the one to do it. I think she would probably ask Violet to do it as like a little favour. That's how I see that going. Get rid of some of that redness from when I burnt my face off. Oh, yeah, I just don't think Kate would like want to do it. She wouldn't want like the responsibility of that, and I think she'd be scared that like she would fuck it up somehow, to be honest. So I think Violet would do it for her. I think that's the kind of relationship they have. I also think that Kate would feel it'd be weird if Anthony did it because yeah, I just think she would be, she would ask Violet to do it. I think she sees Violet as like a role model, so she would ask her to do it. But yes, I do think they would. Mostly because I don't really like the idea of like, she's obviously going to live forever, Kate would, and like, I don't want her to have to go through that. I don't think she should need to suffer any more than necessary, any more than I already do have her suffer on a daily basis. It's my favourite pastime, making that poor woman suffer. Did you have the lines at the end of Lavender Haze in your head the whole time? The callback was, what was the callback? Oh, they repeated, no, I didn't, no. I don't think, one day I should like live write a chapter and just like show you guys the actual process of like what happens when I write, because I don't think it's as planned as you guys think it is. I don't, it's not as planned as you think it is. It's just like in the moment I'm like, yes, because, you know, usually it's very late. Usually I've been at work all day and I'm like, let's just get this done. And I sit down and like, you need to write something. And I have like, I don't know, at the moment it's Desperate Housewives I'm rewatching on the TV. I'm up to season 8. What a top show. Though I have to say there's some jokes in there that haven't aged that well, but that's just because it started in the mid 2000s, really, 2004. So there's some jokes in there that I have to say haven't really aged that well, but, you know, alas, name a show that has aged perfectly. You won't find one. So I just kind of start writing, and then sometimes these things happen, sometimes they don't. Most of the time, I don't know. Most of the time, I don't even know what a chapter is going to be about prior to sitting down to write it. I wish I did. I used to have like chapters planned out in my like phone. I had like a notes app. I probably still have some. Let me show you. I used to have like genuine, do you guys want to see? So here's a fic that I've never finished, but I have an outline for it. I have the outline on my phone to the ending of Post-Traumatic. It's here. Where's the? It's here. So you can see there's like little lines of dialogue sometimes. I even had like what all the flashbacks are going to be planned out, whether it's like Kate point of view or Anthony point of view. Yeah, there it is for the rest of the chapters. It was going to be 15 chapters. There was going to be an epilogue that featured Edmund, apparently. Wow. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, this was going to be good. Oh, cute. Yeah, no. I used to have outlines like that. There's one here for simmering as well. No, there isn't. Not past chapter 5. Lol, 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 lol. There is definitely one for good girls. There's definitely, yeah. There's a good girls one. Oh, that isn't the... Oh, I remember why, because I ended up changing the timeline for that. So, but post, it looks like, oh, I've got an offside one. So the offside one is actually really detailed. Oh, there's like full sections of dialogue in here. Wow, I really went to town. Good girls delete. No. There weren't, actually there is a deleted scene for Good Girls, according to this outline, but most of it is that it was originally only supposed to be 10 chapters. And then I got to chapter 9 and I was like, oh, I can't give this up. And so I added like another 5 chapters to it, and that's why the epilogue doesn't match anymore. But like there is detailed stuff in this. I wonder how much of it is actually in there. Oh, that isn't in there. Oh my god. There are apparently deleted scenes from Offside. Look at that. I should publish these outline sometime. But so post offside, I did not write. So yeah, like I thought, somewhere along the lines, I never actually like wrote an outline for you might have some bruises. I didn't do that. I never did. Sorry, I was just reading that question that came up. Thank you, I'll answer it soon. So I never wrote an outline for that, and now I don't write one for anything because, like I said, I'm really lazy, and I guess my writing's just going to the dogs at this point. But, yeah, so no, I didn't plan that. I'm glad you liked it, though. I'm glad it panned out. Sometimes I like see an opportunity as I'm writing and I'm like, oh, I should do a little callback there. But that's mostly when those callbacks happen, like none of them are planned prior to. Not at all. Of course not. Absolutely not. Why would they be? It's me. Have you tried or are you interested in tabletop role-playing games? I have never tried it. You mean like Dungeons and Dragons? I haven't ever. I would like to try it. My favorite game to play is Settlers of Catan. I love that. There's also, I have this like the Game of Thrones board game, which is like kind of like Risk if you've ever played that. I love board games, but I've never tried the tabletop like role playing games. I haven't. I would love to, but I don't really know how to get into that. And my friend that used to play board games with me has moved away, so it's like it's just me, and it feels a little bit sad to do it like alone with Gregory, though I guess I could put a hat on him and Lady Supreme and they could be like wizards or something. I mean, I would enjoy that. I don't think they would though. Yeah, so I haven't. Do you think Take a Deep Breath will be on the docket for your next set of stories? So that's the one where Kate is a florist and Anthony is a tattoo artist. It is definitely like still on my docket. It's going to be in the next round of stories. So the next round of stories I do is probably going to be, I guess, breaking news. But the next round of stories I do is probably going to be, don't mind my little tiny teddy earrings. How cute are they? I don't know. Are tiny teddies outside of Australia? Maybe not. Oh, that's sad. Tiny teddies are like a really, they're a classic biscuit. You take them to school in like a little individual serving. I haven't heard of them. That's sad. Google it. My favorite are the choc chip ones, but my sister made these earrings. They're really cute. So my next set of stories are gonna be the Wimbledon AU, then You Never Called It What It Was, which is author Anthony, book editor Kate. We have them in New Zealand. Yes, babe. Of course. New Zealand, Australia's cousin. Though to be honest, like New Zealand's probably a little better than Australia. Australia and New Zealand, if you don't know, like we have a very Canada-US relationship where like one's definitely better than the other, but like no one in the other one wants to admit it, and Australia is the other one. I work in publishing. I'm so excited for the author editor AU. Oh, babe, it's going to disappoint you. Like, it's not going to be grounded in any actual fact. Let's get rid of this double chin, guys. Which hopefully will go when I run my half marathon. It's not going anywhere. I never called. Well, it was your idea. You started this. You started this. So it's not gonna be grounded in the realities of the publishing industry. It's really gonna probably disappoint you there. I'm so sorry to announce that. But then the next one, so like the third one is probably gonna be Take a Deep Breath and but the Parent Trap I don't know. Maybe I'll have like 15. I really want to write the Parent Trap AU, I do, but I also think the Parent Trap one is probably like a 3-shot. So I might add that in somewhere just to like, not get it out of the way, but in another much more real way. Oh, the Doctor's AU, I forgot about that one. Oh my God, what do I do with my life? Am I just sitting around at 29 years old? Well, I'm only nearly 29, but like at basically 29 years old, just like, doing nothing, like laying in my nap bed and just, I don't know why I put that there. It's in the wrong spot and now I'm going to have to blend it out. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. No, it's fine. You're not here for makeup tips. God, or you shouldn't be. Let's get this last question done, for God's sake. So, do you prefer having several work in progress concurrently instead of writing one through at a time, or did that just develop organically? Look, I have no patience. I don't have any patience, and that's how this developed, because I think of things and then I just want to write them. And maybe it's a bit of recency bias, but I think that like each story, all I've done for the last year is read fanfic. Yeah, it's rough out there, isn't it? Like, I just don't really care. Like I said, I gave up on dating many years ago, and I think I'm just gonna die alone, and that's like totally fine. So, I don't have any patience is the real problem, and maybe I have ADHD. I'm not sure. I don't have a diagnosis. So I don't really, but I kind of like having like multiple different things to bounce between. I think that works, particularly when they're different. I like to have like a couple different things on my docket at the same time. I know it probably really frustrates all of you, but I kind of like the idea that when I'm like, I don't really want to write that today, I just pick something else up. Yeah, that's how that happens. Yeah. Okay. Let's get like this nasty thing out. Not nasty, but like let's get this thing out of the way that like I just want to address. And I said I would, but I just want to address it because maybe I think like it'll come across differently, like spoken, and maybe this person will finally listen to me. If it's the same person, if not, I don't know. So this has been going on for a little while. So if you follow my blog, which I assume all of you did, no one found me through YouTube. God, what a depressing thought to have. But like, so okay. This is how it starts off, and I'm gonna try really hard to be genuine and not sarcastic. But it says, why do I feel the need to criticize Simone Ashley? I don't know. I don't know why you do. I've got a couple of ideas, but I'm not going to voice them because it's not really my field of medicine. I think some of it might be a little bit of internalized misogyny, but that's okay, you know. It's really interesting to me. So, I really used to love, this is the rest of the thing. This is not my opinion. I'm going to read the rest of the thing and then I will tell you my opinion. So I used to really love her. She seems really awful, and I read things on her. Plus, her boyfriend seems so posh and silly with the luxury cars. So if she's with him, it's because she's like that. She's cocky about her body. She never wears all body friendly clothes, like that dress she wore today. Okay, so I just deeply believe it's a really interesting thing that's happened with celebrities recently, and I agree that like I don't think that like our, as a society, interest in celebrities, let me blend this out before it like sets on my skin and I'm just stuck like that forever. So I agree that I don't think like the interest in like celebrities is a new thing. That's really been going on since the start of Hollywood in like the 40s and 50s, you know. We've been interested in celebrities. And I think like that's part of just genuine human curiosity. But I do think social media has sort of opened the door for like parasocial relationships, for one, where in which we feel we know this person but we don't really know anything about them. You know, you see them on Instagram and you feel like you know that person, but you don't. You know, we know like, God, 1/57th of the amount of things that she posts online. I don't know if that's a real fraction, but so I think it's really interesting that like, for one, like a woman just living her life comes across as really cocky. She can kind of, I think, also date whoever she wants. It's not our business. A lot of these things about her are not our business. apart from the fact that, you know, maybe she doesn't really talk about her partner and she doesn't talk about her family because she doesn't want like a spotlight on them. They're well within their right not to want that. And she's well within her right not to want that as well. I think it's a really interesting mindset that, like, we are owed information about celebrities purely because they're on TV. And it's really weird to me because maybe I'm just old enough to remember when, like, TV shows didn't get any media attention, really. Like, there was no interviews with these people, maybe in, like, TV Week or, like, something like, you know, but, like, we didn't really get any information about TV shows. They didn't have trailers for them, really. They had ads on TV, but, like, they didn't have premieres for them. They didn't have anything like that. Like, we're in, it sounds ridiculous, but, like, a golden age of television again. Like, TV was kind of an embarrassing thing to be known for in years gone by, and that's why it's really surprising to see people like Meryl Streep on TV, you know? These people are like Oscar winners and they're doing TV shows again. It's really interesting. But, like, we didn't get that information. I think social media has opened the door to that. And I don't think we have any entitlement to them just because they're on a popular show that's made popular by us watching it. To give you an example, so as you all know, I'm a dentist. So let's imagine people pay me essentially for services rendered. So they need a filling, I provide that service, they pay me for that service, right? So let's then, by extension, use this same logic. Should those people then have a right to know how I've spent that money that I earned with the service I rendered them? That's insane, right? Like, that's insane to me that I would have to call up Susan and be like, hey, Susan, I just bought some new headphones. Like, no, you would not expect that from any other thing. And I think, like, yes, while they have chosen a profession that's in the public eye, that's within reason. You know, these, like, they still have a right to privacy, and I just think it's, I don't know, odd. To expect, like, a continued commitment to that. I don't really care. It's none of my business. It's none of my business what her family situation is. It's none of my business any of these things. And I also think, like, of course she's wearing things that are flattering to her. Like, I don't know what that question is. We all wear things that we think flatter our body type. I don't know. I don't want to receive, like, messages like this anymore because I'm tired of talking about it, and I feel like I've shared my opinion on this again and again and again. And I also think it's really easy not to follow someone on social media. It's really easy not to do that. It's really easy not to see it if you don't want to. You can blacklist tags, you can block people. Just do it. You'll be happier, you know? I don't think there's anything to be gained in, like, letting yourself, not fixate, that I think has a negative connotation, but, like, letting yourself dwell on this, because I think you're only going to be really unhappy, and I don't want that for you. So yes, let's have an end to that, please. Okay, moving on. Let's have, like, a lighter thing. Hey, let me flick further through. Did I miss any questions from the chat? I don't know. Maybe. Send them again if I don't answer them by the end. Happy tea in the Ton Day. Thank you. Have you read anything by Anne Gracie? She's an Australian author of Regency romance. I have not. I don't. No. I don't read, and this sounds like a really odd, I don't read a lot of romance novels. I don't. I think I'm reading more now than I ever have, but, like, I don't read a lot of them, and I'm trying to mix it up a little bit at the moment. I've been, I just read Song of Achilles, and now I'm on Circe, which is really interesting. That's obviously about like the Iliad. How did you find the Bridgerton books? Like, how did I find them? As in, how did I enjoy them, or how did I learn about them? And previously to that, I read Lessons in Chemistry, which I really enjoyed. But I'm trying to read more like character-driven books right now. Yeah. I think my favourite book of the year, though, it's September. Let's say my favourite book that I've read so far this year has been either The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo or Malibu Rising. I really enjoyed Malibu Rising. Surprisingly, I just really felt for Nina Riva, man. Like, oh my god. Those men, I tell you what, like, but behind every excellent woman is just a mediocre man, I tell you what. My takeaway from that book is just like, all men do is lie, man. Like, anyway, I haven't read any of her books. I don't know how popular she is in Australia. Yeah. How did I find the Bridgerton books? I didn't know anything about them until I watched the TV show. So, yeah. I'm probably not the most, yeah. Happy Tea in the Tonde, this person writes, which Kate and Anthony, personality-wise, were the most difficult and challenging to write? I don't know about personality-wise. Maybe, I think the hardest one I have written, and, yeah, so, I think the hardest story I've written has been Through the Wire. Like, there was just so much, I don't know, that was such a sad story for me. Like, it was emotionally draining to write, which sounds like a ridiculous thing for a story that's published for free online. But it was, just very draining to write. I don't know, that was probably my most challenging story. I had a lot of people, which was really bizarre. Not bizarre, but like odd. But I had a couple of people like message me and like offer their condolences on like my father's death, and I had to be like, oh, this is really awkward, but he's not dead. I don't know what about that story like led people to believe he was. He's not. He isn't. He's very much alive. He lives in Newcastle. So yeah. Not like Newcastle on Tyne, like Newcastle, New South Wales. Which, yes, a lot of Australian places are named after places in the UK. But, yeah, I think that was probably the most, like, difficult story to write. Yeah. I know there was some other. Okay, for Tea in the Ton. This first one has made me laugh. So this is, I think, based off a post someone made that said they had found a chocolate bar in the UK, and it's actually traditionally a Kiwi chocolate bar, like from New Zealand, and there was a bit of a debate going on in the comments because these two words are pronounced differently in like Australian English or British English versus American English. So that chocolate bar is called a perky nana because we pronounce banana with a long A sound. Banana. And then your grandmother is your nana. So this person's asked me to say banana and nana. Banana has a long A sound, which means the Gwen Stefani song really doesn't work over here. You have to sing it with an American accent. Such is life. How's the nap bed? It's incredible. So, for those of you who don't know, I bought a couple weeks ago a human-sized dog bed because of course I did. Because I'm a ridiculous person. And I saw that on Instagram. The targeted ads really got me, guys. The targeted ads got me. I shouldn't have been speaking. I just swallowed a whole bunch of Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Party all night, stay all day. That's hilarious, given that after I film this, I'm probably going to just get in my nap bed. But watch Desperate Housewives. That's fine. So I bought a human-sized dog bed, and it arrived on Tuesday, and I was having a rough week. Owing for the 2 funerals I had to attend on Thursday, so that was rough. But so I got in this human-sized dog bed, and I was like, oh, amazing. And I got in like after I had dinner, so it was about 8 o'clock by that time. And then the next thing I knew, it was 1 a.m. and like Greggy was beside me with his little paws just like up. It's been great. He snuggles in it, I snuggle in it, the cat gets in there too. We're just like one big happy family in this like human-sized dog bed. I went and bought a pillow on my way home when I knew that it had been delivered. I went and got a pillow on my way home because I thought the last thing I want is to have to drag out my pillow from the bedroom every single time I want to have a nap. So now there's just like my weighted blanket and a pillow sitting in a human-sized dog bed in the middle of my living room floor. And I'm not sorry, it's my favorite piece of decor. It's the best $150 I've ever spent in my life. Like, oh, stunning. Would you ever write a dentist AU, or does that hit too close to home? I would never write a dentist AU purely because it is not a sexy job, guys. It isn't. I am covered in air. So for those of you who don't know, a dental drill goes at 300,000 revolutions per minute. It's actually, I think, about the same as a Formula 1 engine, if not more. When that hits water, that creates an aerosol. So I'm currently covered, not currently, I've showered since I was at work on Thursday, but I'm constantly covered in saliva, always. I'm up to my elbows in saliva and blood. And you know a really gross thing that happens? Close your ears if you don't want to hear this. Sometimes when you take out a tooth, guys, a little volcano of pus comes up. It's not a sexy job. It isn't. It's not a sexy job. It isn't. I'm trapped. Well, I'm not trapped. Another woman is trapped in a room with me for 12 hours a day. Do you know how many things we can talk about in that time? That poor patient who's laying with essentially their head in my lap just like ends up getting a conversation that's part of a conversation that started 6 hours previously. Like, it's just not a sexy job. There's also, I feel like, a lot of the mystery has gone. Even if you get kind of a cute patient, a lot of the mystery is gone when you stick your hands in their mouth. The weirdest thing I've ever done for money is learn how to stick my hands in people's mouths professionally. It's not a sexy job. It just isn't. So I don't think I would ever write a dentist AU. Because we just honestly don't think about patients like that. I don't, at least. Maybe I'm a weirdo. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't think so. I would love to read what I think that someone else wrote, but then I think like the gap between like what dentistry is really like and what people's perception of it is, though I don't think there's the perception that it's like a glamorous job, not like being like an air hostess. Don't you just think that seems like the most glamorous job in the world? I bet it's crap though. Like imagine people just like yelling at you all the time and like having to ask people to please put their shoes back on. Like God, what a harrowing experience. Like I bet that is not as glamorous a job as we think it is, you know? It's really glamorized in media. Especially, have you guys ever seen the show? This is one of my favorite shows of all time. And there's only like, I think 12 episodes of it. And it finished long before its time. If it was made in the Netflix era, it would be so popular. But it's never gonna like come back now because Margot Robbie's so huge. It was like the first thing she did when she came to Hollywood. The show Pan Am, like, oh my god. There was a little CIA plot going on with Margot Robbie's sister. And Alice from Twilight turned up, got herself pregnant, even though she was a lesbian. Scandal. Oh my god, Pan Am. Yes, honey. How good was it? Oh my god, I think about it. 4 times a week, bare minimum. Like, the way I loved that show. If I ever meet Margot Robbie, I am gonna ask her, do I think Ted and Laura like got together at the end? Like, oh, it was a stunning show. And then Alice from Twilight just showed up and ruined everything. Oh, my ship was like finally happening. Anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk about Pan Am. I think people dismissed it. Yes, I think so too. I think they made it. There was another show that ABC made like around the same time, Astronaut Wives Club. And I think it kind of got like dismissed as being like in, I didn't even realize it was Margot Robbie. Yes. It was like the first thing. So Margot Robbie was, and I think I spoke about this last time as well, but she was in a show, she was in Neighbours. Which weirdly, it's coming back. So last year, like literally like 9 months ago, yes, the show, yes, Astronaut Wives Club. Oh, we are on the same, we need to chat about this. Message me. So, message me, we need to chat about this. So, what was I talking about? So when Neighbours, like 6 or 9 months ago, they were like, oh, Neighbours is leaving forever. And Neighbours like launched Kylie Minogue's career, which like you guys probably don't even know who Kylie Minogue is. She's huge in Australia. So she's big. So Kylie, like do the locomotion. Pan Am was a Christina, really? As far as Americans were concerned, all we cared about was Margot Robbie. All we cared about was Margot Robbie. That's all Australia, like I'm going to be honest, ever really cares about is the Australians doing well. I know Kylie from watching Graham Norton. Oh my God, isn't every Australian actor in Neighbours or Home and Away a bit like New Zealand with Shortland Stream? Yes. So basically every Australian actor, if there's an Australian actor that like Hugh Jackman, like he wasn't on Neighbours or Home and Away, and we're a bit like, even Heath Ledger was in Home and Away. He took Sally's virginity. If you don't know who Sally is, please look her up. She's an original cast member of Home and Away. Sally, I can't think of her real name. It's a bit like Alf. What's his real name? He's just Alf now, isn't he? Alf from Home and Away. What was I talking about? Neighbours. Oh my God. So like 9 are these soap operas. Yes. So she was in Neighbours, and like 9 months ago Neighbours was like, we're leaving forever. It's been on the air for like 40 years, and everyone was like, oh, a sad moment in Australian television. They're back this year. Like, it's a bit like John, that's not a good reference, but Sally's Kate Ritchie. Yes, Kate Ritchie, that's her name. She won a gold Logie one year. Oh my God, stunning. If a gold Logie is like kind of, wasn't Liam Hemsworth on Neighbours for like a little bit. Chris Hemsworth was on Home and Away. And Misha Barton inexplicably is coming to Neighbours, was the point I was making here originally. Inexplicably, Misha Barton's back. She's coming to Neighbours. I'm never gonna watch it, but like, we were a Home and Away family was the problem. It's like divided. You cannot be a Neighbours and a Home and Away family. I don't know who those people are. Lunatics, probably. You are either a Home and Away or a Neighbours family. My family was a Home and Away family. Until I stopped watching it, and I was so devastated when this happened. I remember just like sitting in my living room. Home and Away was on at 7 p.m. every day, just between like a scripted drama, like it was on at 7 o'clock every day, just after the news. And I remember like watching it, because that's the weird thing about Australia, like our soap operas don't play like in the middle of the day. Our soap operas are like 7 p.m, 6:30 or 7. That's when they are, just after the news. So I remember sitting there, and when Charlie Buckton died on Home and Away, I was just like devastated. We had just been on such an emotional journey with her. Oh, she was a policewoman, and it turns out, so she came to town. No one cares about this, but she came to town with her younger sister Ruby, who was only like 16, and Charlie was like 30. So we're all a bit like, age gap, but that's fine. That happens sometimes, you know. And then it transpired that Ruby was actually Charlie's daughter from like a previous relationship. Oh my God, it was stunning. And then she got shot, I'm pretty sure. She died. Yeah, soap operas are, yeah, they're like a just after the news situation in Australia. But yes, we were a home and away family, but I was so devastated when Charlie died. Like, oh my god, that was brutal. It was brutal for all of us. None of us knew if she was going to get back together with the bad boy. So, and this was like kind of the drama. This was kind of the drama because she ended up dating like a gang leader. She dated another police officer for a little while, Angelo. Why do I remember so much about this? I'm so sorry. I don't even know what the original question was. So, let's get back to that. It's nothing about what I was talking about. So, Margot Robbie, that's why. I remember the Charlie Ruby plotline. Oh my god, do you remember how hectic that was? Do you remember like running to school to your friends the next day and you're like, oh my god. I have this one friend, she's actually still my best friend. Shout out to Maddie if she ever watches these. Probably not. But like we would have to call one another after home and away to like discuss what had happened. And I remember both of us just sitting there during that. I remember just sitting there after that Charlie Ruby situation and we were just like speechless. Oh my god, we were obsessed. We loved it. We loved Home and Away. I don't think either of us watch it anymore. Because the plot lines are also wild. So there was this one, there's this one plot line where a man had a brain tumor and that brain tumor didn't make him act any differently other than the fact that he suddenly became an arsonist. There's been like 12 cults in Summer Bay. That's where Home and Away is set. Summer Bay, it's a fictional town. I need to get off this. I could talk about Home and Away for hours. I haven't watched it in years and I'm still like, oh my god, what's happening? But Chris Hemsworth started his career on Home and Away, as I guess where that's going. Home and Away is also the reason, Home and Away is also the reason why, what was I saying there? Why the name Braxton is really big in Australia, because Brax was, yeah. Anyway, number 4. We seem to have a nudist in the chat. If anyone could get rid of that for me, that'd be great. So this is about have you seen Red, White and Royal Blue yet? I haven't watched it yet. I haven't. I have been planning to for weeks and I haven't watched it. I wish I had. I just haven't. So this is about Till Forever Falls Apart, right? So imagining Lady Danbury just listening to the latest gossip, getting passed from cot to cot like a game of telephone. Yes. That's 100% what she's doing. She's loving this. She's loving the drama. She's like, God, it's been so long since since they've had like good gossip, you know? Daphne and Edwina, they're definitely discussing this. Daphne is almost constantly, she doesn't have anything else to do. She's about to announce a pregnancy, spoiler alert. She's about to announce a pregnancy. She doesn't really have anything else to do right now. She's just like hanging out, and like Anthony turning into such a simp has just really sent her. And that's kind of what she's doing right now. She's just kind of like keeping Violet updated. They chat on the phone and they're like, so this situation, because Anthony, I haven't like addressed this yet. It's coming up in the next chapter, I think. I think it'll get into the next chapter. We'll see. So Anthony is also keeping Violet abreast of the situation with Kate. So very exciting. A huge fan of Lavender Haze Debbie, aren't we all? Is she not all of us? Where's Benedict and Colin in Till Forever Falls Apart? I wish I knew. I haven't thought that much about it. Benedict, I think, is like kind of just staying out of it. He doesn't, yeah. I think both of them are kind of like not as Anthony's responses to Daphne announcing her pregnancy is going to be, yes, look, he's going to be a little bit upset because now he can no longer pretend that his sister is, you know, not married to his best friend. In his head, he was like, this isn't happening. But yeah, I know there's some other questions further down here. Oh, here's one, really interesting. I think you said you don't make outlines for your stories anymore and just write off the cuff. Do you write each chapter linearly? Or if, for example, you think of a scene you want to happen later in the story, do you go ahead and type it somewhere in the document so you don't forget it when you get to that part? Yes and no. So, like we've just said, I don't do any outlines anymore, which is, you know, I don't do any outlines anymore because I'm really lazy and I honestly just don't. But I also, and this, no, I'm not going to say that because it makes me sound like a dick. I was about to be like, I just trust myself more as a writer. No, that's not true. It's laziness. So, I do, for the most part, write chapters linearly. Let me load the Pages app on my phone and I will show you because I do have some sections written for, oh, it's already loaded on here. What was I doing? Okay. Is it Till Forever Falls Apart by herself? Okay. I also need to finish that, don't I? Oh my god, what am I doing? Too many works in progress. Okay. So if we scroll, I've got a later chapters section in Mile High that just like is little snippets that I've thought of that eventually I'll like pluck them out and put them into the chapter that I'm writing or change them completely. Who knows? But I just open a document and start typing. One day I will do a live stream of me typing once I figure it, and you can all see what this creative process is like in which it's useless. Sometimes though I'll just be sitting there and I'll be like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if they had this part of the conversation? But I try not to do that because it's always really tricky. Though most of the time, I've just gone back on what I said almost immediately. Let's get some eyeshadow on for one. It's always a little bit tricky because then you have to kind of, maybe I'll use this one today. I'm going to use the Bridgerton 1 palette today. No one cares. No one's here for makeup. Maybe I won't. No plans. So it's always really tricky because then you have to kind of get there somehow, you know, like when you just have little snatches of dialogue, it's hard because you have to figure out how that fits into the bigger piece, which like I'm honestly not always so good at. I think I worry sometimes that it ends up coming off like a little bit clunky, and I don't like that. So, but most of the time I start writing chapters and I figure out what's going to happen in a chapter because I think of a random piece of dialogue. So then it just becomes kind of like a bloody, you know, vicious cycle. Just becomes sort of a vicious cycle, you know. I don't know if I like that colour there, but that's fine. We're in it now. We're in it now. Yep, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. So, I don't often, I don't often add little chapters in. Sometimes I do, and then I'll just write little sections. Sometimes I just try to remember what I wanted to write there, and then it comes out differently. But most of the time, the dialogue that I have saved there doesn't necessarily become anything. Most of the time, the dialogue is just like a kicking off point, and then I'll change it from there because every time I reread something, I want to change it, and that's one of the reasons that I stopped like truly proofreading my work, because every time I wrote something, I was like, nah, that needs to change, and I never got anywhere. So now I just don't do it anymore. I'm just, you know, like I said, I'm really in tune with my running process. No, I'm not. I'm not in tune with anything, but you know, we can all pretend. What have I done to my eyebrow? There's just like 4 lines there. Jesus Christ. It's a good thing I'm not going anywhere today. This is a mess. Looks okay on camera, but like up close it's a bit of a mess. Greg just let out a huge snore. I don't know if you guys heard that. Again, what in the world could he have to be upset about? So just a little freeloader, but that's fine. Love him to death. He's tired. He's been running a lot recently. I'm hoping that Greg and I can do like a little 5K together because I think that would be really cute. But so far he doesn't get the point that we're running. He needs to stop. I think what I need to do is I need to like take him for a little walk first and then start running. Because like he just gets really, like he needs to sniff everything, which is fine because that's the way dogs like, you know, communicate and like explore the world around them. So I want that for him, but like at the same time I'm like, oh, this isn't really helping my workout, you know, like you guys probably won't even recognize me next month. Oh, I missed that message. What was that? Oh, there. I love your accent. It's very British. Do you think? Who was at home with Violet? Is this until forever falls apart? I finally found the chat. Nobody had a baby in a hospital in Summer Bay either. Oh my god, so true, Tiffany. So true. Never plan a wedding in Summer Bay, babe. Like, oh my god, it was gonna get. Do you remember? Oh my god, this is just back on Home and Away, but like one moment so we can discuss what at the time I felt was the most dramatic storyline of my entire existence, which was the Summer Bay stalker. Do you remember that wedding got blown up? Oh my god, guys, it was so dramatic. The acting was terrible, but like at the time I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. It was incredible. To like 7-year-old Molly, it was incredible. It was stunning. It was stunning. So, yeah. Is there any possibility of having post-traumatic? It's really funny because I just went through the outline for that. Maybe I'll post the outline and you guys can decide if you actually wanted it to go where it was going to go. It was very dramatic. I'm actually kind of proud of myself for the drama of it. I'm super curious how half marathon training's going. Look, I'm hating every second, Tiffany, but thank you for asking. Yeah. Hating every moment of it, actually, babe. Thanks. So this came about because my work bestie, her name's Courtney. If she watches this, sometimes she does. Sometimes she watches with her mum, so shout out to them. She said to me, she was like, I'm, looking for a goal. There's like a marathon festival that happens in the city near where I live. So I live probably about an hour away from that city. And every year there's a marathon festival, super big. You can also do an Ironman. That's a different festival, but like you can do an Ironman. Oh yeah, I did leave Kate injured in a hospital. How chaotic of me. Gonna use this new eyeliner today. Very exciting. It's a Dior one. We'll see. So what I was saying there. So Courtney was like, I'm looking for a new goal. And I have been wanting to like get fitter again for a little while. And so I was like, okay. And I thought she was going to say like, let's do a 10K together. So I agreed. But what she wanted to do was a half marathon. So now I'm running a half marathon. It's going to be very exciting. We're going to do it as a fundraiser, which is, great. So yeah, my legs are sore all the time. I had to become a person that owns a protein shaker now. I own a protein shaker now. Molly's alignment is chaotic good. We know this. Thank you. You understand me. So You get it, babe. So I own a protein shaker now, and it's kind of hilarious because when I was at university, I actually worked at the Athlete's Foot, which is kind of like Foot Locker, except it's a specialty running store, wherein which we love Greggy. I'll get him back for you. He's napping in. I'll get him back at the end. So wherein which we actually like fit footwear, and at the time I would run like 10K a day. Like I was pretty fit then. I know you wouldn't know looking at me now, but I was pretty fit then. But now, like, I don't know, it's a different kind of like, I'm trying to do like a couch to 5K program, and then my goal by February is to be able to do 10K. And then this half marathon is in July, so then I've got until July to do like 10 to 21K it ends up being. So I'm excited about it, but I also deeply hate it. And like I said, I just don't look cute. I don't look cute after I exercise. I bought myself a Ferrari cap to run in so people will know the level of incompetence in which I'm working. I'm allowed to say that on the Ferrari. Where did the chat go? There we go. Okay. Let's scroll back because I missed a couple things. I do have like more questions too to get through, but I'm just trying to get through this. Yes, Tiffany runs a summer-based stalker. Yes, babe. As an American, I didn't have any friends to discuss with this, so this is so validating to me. Yeah. Yeah. Me and my friend used to discuss home and away like constantly. Seeing you train for a half marathon. I'm considering training for a marathon as well. Yes, you should do it. You should do it. Let's do it. And then tell me how it's going. Tell me how your training's going. We can discuss how much we hate it together and how, like, I now have had to face, unfortunately, the awful realization that I'm old now. Like, as I said, I'm going to be 29 next Saturday. I've had to face the realization that I'm very old. And I need, like, a recovery shake now. Not a recovery shake, like sort of a recovery drink, I suppose. I have a recovery drink. Where is my eyelash? There it is. Buried deep in my cup of brushes. I need a recovery drink now. I've got an amino acid drink. Because my legs just get so sore, and I'm telling myself, like, this will get better. And I'm like, Molly, when you become super fit, you're going to have a glow, babe. Like, no, I'm not. That's a lie. I'm telling myself to get through it. And my sister really burst my bubble. I tell you what, since this pregnancy, she has just not been sugarcoating it for me anymore, which is rough. So she burst my bubble and she was like, no, you're just going to sweat like this forever. And I was like, please let me lie to myself. Like, this is none of your business. Please, like, let me lead myself on a little bit. I also ordered a pre-workout, so I'm very excited about that. And I'll keep you guys updated. Tiffany's training for a 10K. Yes, babe. Every time I foam roll my legs, I think of Anthony and Kate. Look, yeah, that was... Does the Athlete's Foot? No, it is called Athlete's Foot in Australia too. The store just doesn't care. To answer that question, it is like the fungal infection is also called Athlete's Foot here. We just okay. For one wild moment there, I thought to myself, should I put false eyelashes on? And then I was like, where are you going? And for one, you can't do that on camera. Everyone will see how ridiculous you are. So yeah, it's going well. Okay, here's another one. Happy early birthday. Thank you so much. Yes. I've said it a few times now, but it is my birthday next Saturday. So also after my like Friday update, I guess this is a good time to announce that I have a really busy weekend next weekend, not because it's my birthday. I'm not doing anything for my birthday, but what I usually do for my birthday, which is get takeaway and watch Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. So, but it's also my sister, it's also my sister's baby shower, so that's mostly what I'm going to be dealing with. I had to like order furniture. I don't know how to do that anymore. Not anymore. I never knew how to do that. I don't know how to do those things. But everyone kind of expects it of me because now I'm like 29. I'm like, but I'm still a baby. Like we said, in my head, I'm like 23 max. So, so I won't probably be able to update anything else. My Tumblr it's always active. But like I probably won't update any other fics next weekend. Just as a warning. Okay. My hair looks like crap today, but that's fine. I just showered, so. And I air dried it because I'm a lunatic. So, what is your favourite Kate look from season 2 and why is it the ensemble from the promos and the meeting with the Queen at the beginning of episode 5? You know what? That is actually my favourite look. That look was just top tier, wasn't it? Like, it was just. I tell you what, there was just something about it. It was top tier. It was. Yes. You know what? I'm not going to use that one because I want to use my little. I got one of these. You've probably seen them if you follow any like not makeup influencers, but like one of these MAC ones. This is a blue tinted one. It's basically like a tinted lip gloss. So, you know, try and figure out what to use that over. Maybe I'll just do a lip liner and do that. I need to sharpen my lip liner first. Okay. That is my favourite look. I just feel like that colour looked so incredible on her. Like, honey, it was working for you. I loved, like, the velvet and over the silk. Like, oh, my God, it was stunning. And they used that dress so much in promo. And it was in there for, like, one scene. I feel like, because they definitely had repeats. I don't think that's because of COVID. I think, and this is giving production a lot of credit, but we also have to consider that they travelled to be in London. So they probably didn't give them a very varied wardrobe to be a little bit realistic in that respect. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they travelled, it's always so, do you know what, one of my least favourite things that happened? And the movie, if anyone's ever seen the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, which, like, if you haven't seen it, please watch it. Like, every time I watch it, I just, like, bawl my eyes out. Oh, my God, so beautiful. So it's a post-World War II story. I always think Lady Danbury bought all of their dresses. I think that's true for, like, their evening wear, but not necessarily true for their day wear, I don't think. Though I could be wrong. I hate it. I hate it when, like, so they take on holiday, like, this tiny little suitcase, and yet they never repeat an outfit. One of those, like, super aesthetic little suitcases that looks really cute, and yet apparently they got 45 pairs of jeans in there. Like, no. Ugh. Unbelievable. Well, that's messy as hell, but it'll do. So, that is my favorite. I don't know why they used it so much in promo, though, considering it's in, like, one tiny little scene. I feel like this is an odd phrase, but I feel like there's more important dresses for her than that one. Like, it did look incredible, though. Like, no shade, but let me just do this so that I can move on with my life. So, yes, they lost all. It's so annoying to me. Yes, with the Peacock Police had the same dress. Yes, it was the same dress, but, like, they just changed. I feel like that's realistic of the time as well. One of my pet peeves about period dramas is wedding dresses, and this is a weird hill to die on. But wedding dresses, you would have been expected to wear that dress again. Like, that's, for one day, they're not going to buy you a new dress. It would have been, like, a nice dress, but, like, it would have been, still, like, just a dress, you know? Like, you would have been expected to trot that bad boy out every Sunday, you know? You would have been expected to do that. Thank you to whoever was appreciating my lip liner. It's a Pat McGrath one. Cosmic Vibes. I actually bought it, funnily enough. I bought this lip liner to go with, I want to say the Bridgerton lipstick that I bought. Executive Realness. No, it's not a Bridgerton one, actually. It's just a nice, like, mulberry one. Yeah, so let me go through the rest of these questions and then we can finally end this. It's been going on for 75 minutes. I'm so sorry I've kept you all from very important things. Would you ever write Kate and or Anthony as a dentist, or would that be a traumatic experience? Again, lol, no. Yes, on wedding dresses, yes, they also didn't wear white. I tell people this all the time as my fun fact for like, do you know who popularized the wearing of a white wedding dress? It's Queen Victoria. Super exciting. And so it really bothers me when period dramas have the bride wearing a white dress. Like, some people would have worn white, yes, but like, not everyone. Is the Gretna Green one shot on the Mollyverse, like as in the like canon Divergence one? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it will be. Is there a story premise you love but can't think of a plot for? No. I can pretty much always think of plots. I haven't thought of any recently because I've been trying not to, because I have so many backed up, like in my docket. I have so many backed up. I have so many, I have so many that I've been trying not to think of anything. Yeah. How's the half marathon we've done? How are your pets? Look, Greg's living his best life as per usual. He is just constantly thriving. I love that for him. He did have a little sore on his tail. He had a little sore on his tail and I was very sad about that, but he's got to go to the vet next week and get his vaccinations. His tail's all healed. We're fine. Yeah. Landlady Supreme is just indifferent to everyone. Nice cat. Oh, I need to go back and read the chat. Okay. If you could pick a Kate and Anthony storyline or scene from the later books, besides having their children, to show up at some point in future seasons of the show, what would it be? Oh, that's such a good question. And the answer is this. There's a couple that I really love. And one is from To Sir Philip with Love. The other is from On the Way to the Wedding. And the To Sir Philip with Love one actually doesn't include Kate. It's just, I think, a fun little anecdote. So there's this scene in the book, and basically, like, the brothers have gone to beat up Philip because Eloise ran away with him. And so it turns out, basically, that they're not going to beat up Philip. But Anthony kind of takes Eloise aside, and he's like, what are we doing? Like, you have to marry him now, like, etc., etc., etc. So basically then Eloise is kind of like, well, you know, like, you married for love, and Anthony, because in the book their situation is very different. And I think they could still do something similar, but, like, obviously not this exact wording. But he basically says, like, when I married Kate, I wasn't in love with her. But, like, you know, since then, yes, it's a great scene. Since then, like, we've grown this relationship and we've, like, nurtured it, and it's a really sweet moment because I think you can truly see in scenes like that when Anthony's with his family, like, how far he's come. He's come a long way, and I just think, like, the fact that now, and you see this again with On the Way to the Wedding, but, like, you think, like, how far he's come. All he wants to do is, like, hang out with his wife and kids, and I just think, like, it's so sweet. It's so sweet. I don't like this makeup look. I don't like it, but we're in it now. It's fine. So it's really sweet. It's really sweet, and I love that one. The other one is On the Way to the Wedding. where Anthony and Kate are talking about a party that they've been to previously, and it's the reason why Kate is no longer allowed to pick Anthony's costumes for like costume parties, because she had him dressed as Cupid, like with just like a little nappy, and that was it. Like, what an unhinged. I love her. I love her to death. The fact that she was just like, yes. And Anthony was like, well, I guess I've got to wear it now. Like, you don't. Like, you really don't. But those, I think, I really want to see Gregory's story told. Not because it's my second favourite Bridgerton story, but because, like, I think being the last book, you really do see, like, how far everyone has come in their characterization. Super interesting. Yeah, I would love to see that. If the Bridgerton experience went international and you had the opportunity to go, would you? Could conventions be your thing? I would like to. I think if it was in an area, the problem with Australia is things only really come to Sydney, and Sydney is a 3-day drive from me almost. So it's tricky. Yeah, and it's generally quite expensive to travel in Australia. So, for example, it cost me, when I went to New Zealand, I flew out of Sydney because my best friend at the time lived in Sydney. So I flew out of Sydney, and it cost me as much to get from where I live to Sydney as it did from Sydney to New Zealand. It's like, flights in Australia, because it's such a big country, are quite expensive. So it becomes a very expensive venture. Yeah, becomes a really expensive venture to do things. Have you put together the Little Mermaid Lego set? I haven't. I haven't done it yet. I really want to, but every time I sit down to do it, I just like do something else instead. Like, what is wrong with me? I don't know. Gregory is unhinged and water is wet. I don't know if you're talking about my dog Gregory or Gregory Bridgerton, but both are true. I named my dog Gregory after Gregory Bridgerton because I just think he's the sweetest Bridgerton brother. He's the only one, and I know a lot of people seem not to have read his book. I think that's the end of our questions, but I think purely because like it's the very end of the book series, and I think when you read, I don't know if other people have this problem, but when I read a book series, by the end of the book series, I'm like, oh my god, like, ugh. It was like this when I read the Chronicles of Narnia books. I was like, at the beginning, I was really, really into them, and like, but like at the end, you're just like, oh, when you read so many of them in quick succession, like I get a little bit bored of it. And I think like so few people have read Gregory's book, and I just think like it's actually a really sweet book. He is the only Bridgerton boy who like actually wants to find love prior to meeting their wife. He is like, he's waiting for it. He's waiting to fall in love, and he wants to do it so badly that when he meets Hermione, he thinks that's what it must be like. Like he's like, well, this must be what love is because I've never felt this before. And he just like wants to find true love so badly, and I just think it's so sweet. He just like sweeps Lucy off her feet because she is 100% practical. She's like, I'm just gonna get married for money. I've got like, I'll get a good position. Like I'm gonna do what my family want me to do. And like then she meets him and she realizes like how hard it would be not to have him, like not to have that emotion involved. And like, I don't know, it's just so sweet, and I hate that people like don't really seem to like them. It makes me really sad. He is the last to get married, yes. And that's part of it. It like compounds the fact, like one of the first sections of the book basically says like Gregory has waited his whole life for this, and like seeing like Anthony so in love has also shaped him into this. And it's just like, I think Gregory as an adult is a testament to the fact that for most of the relationship that was modeled for him most was Kate and Anthony. Like, of course he believes in it. He sees it all the time. Like, I think it's really sweet, the relationships that have been modeled for him. Yeah. They've given that, they've given a lot of, and this is what makes me think that we're not going to get all 8 seasons, is like they've given a lot of traits from the other, siblings, like younger siblings, like Francesca through Gregory, F through G, to, F through H. I always forget that, I know the alphabet, but I always forget because the books are switched. I always think that like Gregory is younger. But like they've given a lot of those to the other siblings, you know, like, and I think that's one of the things that I'm like, okay, by the time we get to On the Way to the Wedding, we are going to be wildly inventing storylines because we've borrowed them from everyone else. We're going to be inventing wildly at that point. It's fun. Okay, let me read back through this chat. The thing is, well, I think they'd have to do a lot of like recasting were they to do, and I think it just gets like a little bit messy. Yeah, I think it'll just get a little bit messy. But does anyone have any final questions before we end this? And I'll get old Greggy back. Oh, buddy, let me get him. Oh, buddy. That's another reason I know I'm starting to get old, because I've made it make a sound when I stand up now. Okay, come on. Oh. He's back. Say hi. Well, okay. Why are you such a lunatic? Okay, no, that's... Will you cool it? Cool your jets. Okay. Go back to sleep. You've said goodbye. Could he be any cuter? I don't know. When he's barking at 3 a.m. because he heard a kookaburra outside, he could be a lot cuter, I tell you what. He could be just a little bit cuter. They have to do Ben and Sophie's season next because Eloise is just not mature enough. I don't think we will see Ben and Sophie next season. I don't think so. I would be surprised. I don't think Eloise is ready for marriage, no, but I think that let that girl go to college. I think it's really interesting because the book, don't say that about me. I know, I'm sorry. I don't think we will. Purely because I think they're worried. So Netflix, a lot of the time, shows become more and more expensive to produce, obviously. And the writer's strike and this SAG strike are compounding that at the moment. And I think it's possible that we will not get more than 4 seasons of Bridgerton. It hasn't been renewed past that. And so I think the story outside the fandom that people are most interested in is probably Eloise. So I think if the next season is about Ben and Sophie, and if we're not getting any more stories than that, I think it's unlikely that Eloise will end the season married, like end the series married. I also think because the storyline that they're writing for her doesn't really add up to her original plot. Like it does, but it doesn't. Yes, they've put such an emphasis. Yes, they do. They have. They've put such an emphasis on the Eloise and Penelope friendship, which is present in the books, but like we also don't really see that. And that's one of the problems with the way the books are written, is that you only see the 2 characters that are gonna fall in love that book. You don't see any of the other stuff that happens outside of that. And one of the great things about having the show is obviously you can do a lot more world building with that. But that introduces the fact that the storylines you're introducing now don't really add up to what we already know about this. You have to do a lot of inventing with that. And in that, yes, Eloise is very different from the book version. She is. She's very different from the version that we know in the book. the Eloise in the book, it's really funny because when she meets Kate, it's at a party and she's not out yet. She's not out in society yet. And Kate's kind of like, oh, you know, like, are you just there? And Eloise is kind of like, oh, my mum's like letting me go to some parties like ahead of time. And Eloise is kind of excited about this. Let me find it. Here's one I prepared earlier. It's when they have like the musical. No, that's Anthony having a sex dream. That's not it. Yes, here we go. Yes, so she's not officially out till next year in this. That's a gorgeous addition. I got this from Once Upon a Book Club. You can just buy them. This is the Viscount Who Loved Me, yes. Yeah. You can just buy them individually now. You used to have to get them as a set, but you can just buy the books individually. So I have this one. I also did pre-order the re-release of the Illumicrate Bridgerton books, which I'm really excited about. They look super pretty. I love a pretty book. So she's not officially out until next year, but her mum, Violet, is allowing her to attend functions at Bridgerton House. Oh, no, we've skipped a little section there. Yeah. Yes, so Eloise is like kind of excited about this. She's smiling. She's talking about Daphne coming out 2 years ago. That doesn't make sense. Because Daphne, I'm positive, has already been out 2 years in The Duke and I. So that doesn't add up because this is a year later. I need to fact check that. Leave it with me. But I don't think that timeline adds up. No one has done the math. No, they haven't, but I will. I will do the math. Leave it with me. Have I missed any questions? Bridgerton Math is hilarious. Yes, it is. Because in Bridgerton Math, Edwina is an illegitimate child. Or at least, like, was conceived illegitimately. The wrong side of the blanket, as it were. Which I think is a super funny little anecdote because I just love to imagine Anthony realizing that on, like, Edwina's next birthday. I just think it's really funny. Mary, go babe. Like, she had an abusive first marriage. If you haven't read the book, spoiler alert, that's Mary's backstory in The Viscount Who Loved Me. She was married once before, and this has gone on for 90 minutes. I'm so sorry. The wrong side of the blanket. You've never heard that term. Yeah. The wrong side of the blanket. I feel, yeah. It's used a lot, I think, in like period dramas. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yes, Edwina was very nearly born on the wrong side of the blanket. If Bridgerton Maths is correct, and no one talks about that in the book, but I'm there. I've got Mary's number. I know. She was like, I'm gonna get myself like one little dilf as a treat. And you know what? She deserved it. It definitely is used in Regency pieces a lot. Yes, thank you. So I'm gonna go unless I've missed any questions because I've kept you all here for 90 minutes talking about absolutely nothing. Yes, good for her, good for Mary. Like, as I said, in The Viscount Who Loved Me, she like cries telling Kate about like what's gonna happen on her wedding night because like the experience she had on her original wedding night was like so awful. So like, yes, honey, you do deserve a cute little dilf. Like, and I deeply believe that man is a dilf. Like, dilf daddy Sharma, absolutely. Like, ugh. He was. He convinced her to marry him so quickly, and just like, particularly in the show, she was like an 18, hot young thing, like, she ran off with him, he had no money. She did get Kate so nervous, like, I will admit it was not the perfect birds and the bees talk. She's not a perfect woman, but like, I mean, at least Kate knew what was going to happen. Can we say the same for Daphne? No. If we do get that Kate flashback, I really hope we don't get disappointed. Here's the thing. At this point, like seeing Violet's father, don't get me started on that. Move on. So here's the thing. I know I've literally just said I was going to go, but I have one more thing. And I've forgotten what it was. What was it? Okay. So the only person's opinion I care about, because in my head, I already know how this relationship between Mary and Dilf Daddy Sharma evolved. I have my own headcanon about this. I really only want one person to confirm it, and that's Shelley Conn. As we know, I'm maybe the world's only Shelley Conn fangirl, owing to the show Terra Nova. That's really all I care about. Maybe I should just message her on Instagram and be like, hey, can you just approve this for me? Thank you. So I'm not really sure I want a flashback, because I feel like it's going to ruin what I have going on in my head. So with that, unless I missed any questions, which I don't think I did, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for joining me, and we should do this again. I should do some more videos in the meantime, but I probably won't. So yeah, have a good day. Thanks for getting ready with me and Greg, and we'll see you all next time.